Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? What is up? Welcome to the Wednesday/Thursday show, episode 3, Real Men Are Raiders podcast. I am CT Dinero. This is Real Men Are Raiders. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in on a late show. I really appreciate it. Been super busy. There's all kinds of stuff all over my microphone. Been super busy trying to get a lot of stuff done with the brand, merch, everything like that. You know how that probably next week be showing some of that stuff off, new shirts, backpacks, stuff like that, stickers, everything. You know, so I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving first and foremost. You know, I didn't do a show, my usual show, like I said, on Wednesday, so I'm doing it today, and gonna just touch on the Chiefs really quick. There's a lot of other stuff I want to tap into real quick. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat and everything, everybody that showed up, everybody that's here. Like I said, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope everyone's having a great week, great Thursday. One more day. We got Friday tomorrow. Bye week for the Raiders, I think, is much needed. You know, I can't remember the last time we've had a bye week so late. You know, it's kind of like it's a little weird, you know. Usually every year on like clockwork, it's like 5-6, you know, the 5th, 6th week. And for us to have it a week 13, you know, it's pretty crazy, but couldn't have come at a better time, you know, probably a little bit overdue. Max is he's in really bad shape, you know. I honestly, personally, I said before the show, before the game actually, that if he wasn't gonna be 100%, I would have rather him just sat out, you know. Ooh, excuse me. I get it. We're going up against the Chiefs. I get it. You know, he's never missed a game in his career or anything like that. But for him to go out there and, you know, put his body on the line and stuff like that, like that's what real Raiders are about. But still, you know, we need him the entire season. You know, I don't want to see him go out. If I don't know if you guys seen the pictures, but his knee did not look good before the game. He was sick. He was in the hospital. He had the flu. There was like bacteria in the fluid in his knee, you know. So like all that is like just all bad news, you know. And for him to still go out there and play the way he did and everything like that, like that's a Raider, you know. Like that's like Robert Spillane going out there and playing with a broken hand, you know. So Sammy, salute, man. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. But back to what I was saying about Max, you know, I honestly personally I would have rather him sat or not. If he didn't want to sit out the whole game, like limit his reps, you know, like he was out there He was out there almost the whole game. You saw him before the half, like icing his knee already. Like you knew he was in some pain, showed up in the Jordan jersey, flu game, all that stuff. Rafa, what's up, man? I'm gonna send you the link right now, brother. I have it copied and everything saved. But I would have rather him sat. I would have rather him sat, or like I said, keep his reps limited. So that's my thoughts on Max right there. What the hell? Because he didn't look good. He didn't look good. I'm not saying he had a bad game. He looked like shit, nothing like that. But I mean, we need him for the whole season. And if this one game is gonna affect him, then I would have rather him sat. So the game, it started out great. It started out great. The Chiefs haven't allowed a touchdown on their first drive in like 15 games or something like that. And for us to go out there and show out the way we did in that first quarter and that first half, like I was really, really hoping the whole game was gonna go like that, and just lack of adjustment, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, against AP and O'Connell. I mean, it's kind of unfair right there. You got a experienced coach with an all-star experienced quarterback going up against a rookie coach is fourth game. And yeah, it didn't end too well for him. So it sucks, especially because we've seen what we could what like I think that's what gets to me the most. Like we see what this team could do, for them to go out there and be able to shut out the Chiefs the way they did. Like I think at the end of the first half, they only had 19 yards, or it was like a little bit into the second quarter or something like that. They only had 19 yards, we were already over 100. So, and the big run by Jacobs, looking like Jacobs from last year. So all right, yeah, for sure, Rafa. It's all good. Take your time, man. So I I really thought, like we were gonna be able to show up and this was gonna be that game, like that bounce back game. And the way it started out great. But I mean, like I said, you're going up at experienced coaches and players against rookies. That they have the talent, but just because they have the talent doesn't. Football being the most team sport, like unless you're the quarterback, you can't really make something happen every play. You can't run and scramble for a first down. You can't extend the play. Maybe running backs, they get the ball a little bit more. But if you're a wide receiver like Devontae Adams, you need a good, accurate quarterback, especially when you're the caliber wide receiver that he is. People are going to be doubling him, triple teaming him, keeping someone over the top. Like you got to have an experienced quarterback to get him the ball. So there's only so much Adams could do. And I mean Jacobs, he needs a line of block for him. So I mean this is the most team game. It's not like basketball. You can't go out there and play your offense doesn't play defense. Your best players on offense can't also be your best players on defense. So football, you really need everybody to show up, do their job. We had I think no penalties, really low penalties. So overall, when you look at it on paper, the first half and numbers and everything, it was a really good game. It was a really good game. I'm not mad at AP. Not mad at O'Connell. He's a rookie. He's still learning. He's gonna do rookie stuff. So it was a tough loss, seeing how we started, but getting past the Chiefs now, let's get to all these Raider fans, that were so happy, AP showing up in the the cigars in the locker room, everybody was loving it. Everybody was loving that shit, and now he lost to two good teams, he lost to two good teams that have. I don't want to say the Dolphins have a lot of experience coaching. McDaniel is I think he's still on his like rookie year, his earlier years of coaching. But still, going up against Andy Reid and then seeing the offense that the Dolphins had. I mean, come on. For some of these fans, I haven't seen it myself. Shout out to Protect the Shield. I was watching his Woodson Whiskey Wednesday show yesterday with Spicy Raider, and he was talking about how there's fans coming out talking about AP needs to go back to Compton and all kinds of shit like this, man. And it's like these ain't fans, the only kind of people that come out when the team's doing good and that vibe is there, and you see the team having fun, and you see the real fans having fun, and you want to be a part of that shit, and all of a sudden, like, they lose two bad games and it's like, oh, go back to Compton, and like, O'Connell ain't this, O'Connell ain't that. Like, he's a rookie, this is what we all asked for. I don't know how many times to say it. This is exactly what we all asked for. So for people to even be giving him like AP any kind of shit like that, like, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, let me know in the comments how you guys feel, like how your vibe is with AP right now. You guys want him to be long term? Do you guys want, Mark Davis to go and hire another head coach? I mean, after seeing what he's been able to do, like, yeah, he's a rookie head coach, but he also has a rookie offensive coordinator. I mean, imagine if he had a more experienced offensive coordinator. Imagine if we had a more experienced quarterback, and AP still keeping this vibe. AP still keeping we still got Patrick Graham on defense. Like, where do you see this team being? So for people to be like, yeah, AP needs to go, this and this, that, and that, it's like, you guys, I said it before in one of my last videos. You guys just need to sit down and actually just be happy that you're getting like good football. You're actually getting competitive football with the Raiders and any team that we go up against, because it's been competitive. Even though we've lost the last two games, it's been competitive. So as far as me, I'm down to rock with AP. From what I've seen, I don't want to really put my ballot in that box just yet. I want to see how he finishes the year, obviously, but if you really had to ask me, if you really had to, like right now, I need an answer right now, I would say yeah. I'm gonna rock with AP. You know, Let me get to everybody in the chat real quick. My mouse is not working. Where is my mouse? Oh, that's why. There we go. Sammy, salute, man. Rafa, and getting to your I like AP. The players like him. Unless he loses out, it's his job, win or lose. Effects. And he even said it. He's playing with house money. He's on a rental program, and he knows it, and he said it in one of his last press conferences. Like, they win as a team, they lose as a team. It's not all on O'Connell, it's not all on him, it's not all on Bo Hardegree. Like, when they win, they celebrate as a team. When they lose as a team. And that's just the way it is. That's for him to have that kind of mindset, and not only that, but for him to be about what he says. He's not only out here, like, he's not out here selling bullshit tickets. He ain't crying wolf. For him, I think one of the biggest things, because there was a couple people cut, as soon as he took over being head coach, and he was the interim head coach. But I don't think nothing really puts a staple on it like him releasing Marcus Peters. For him to bench Marcus Peters and then release him, Marcus Peters was playing like shit, and for whoever put that report out saying that he did another Olay. Like, I posted that shit weeks ago. I posted him as a matador, with a bull as a football, and it said Olay on it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been saying that. I mean, I don't get the credit because I'm a small timer, but I've been saying it. I got the receipts for you. Go back and check it. So for people to be giving AP shit, he's sticking to his word. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna do what's best for the Shield. Doesn't matter what name's on your back. It doesn't matter, what kind of caliber player you think you are. I mean, if Marcus Peters would have handled it differently, maybe if he would have, took his role, sat on the bench, supported the team like Garoppolo's doing, maybe he wouldn't have got cut. Maybe he could have been a second stringer or a third stringer or something like that. But for him to go over there, and from what I saw from people posting, he was sitting by himself, not engaging with anybody. Like, that's Trent Brown shit, like that's Antonio Brown shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, having to fit over there, like, you're a grown ass man, dude, getting paid millions of dollars. Like, act like it, like, act your age, not your shoe size. Like, come on, man, like, grow the fuck up. Like, he could have still been part of this team, this team he so called wanted to be part of, because he grew up in the Bay Area and he was an Oakland fan since he was younger, and he's like AP, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at AP's effort to 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 be a Raider as compared to Marcus Peters. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's really putting in effort? I mean, for Marcus Peters, even if he's at that age where he doesn't want to make those kind of plays, he doesn't want to tackle, he doesn't want to do this, he doesn't want to do that. Like, if that's your role, then dude, like, be about your role and like own up to it. You know, let other players get their time, if especially if you know or think that they could be better than you. You know what I'm saying? So on six, what up, man? How you doing? Salute. You know, but I mean, I honestly gotta give it, I gotta give it up to the AP. You know, he's doing everything he said he was gonna do. He's holding up to his word, showing up in Lolos. He has the trust of the team, he has a team behind him. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like at the end of the season, we'll see where we're at. But like I said, if you had to ask me right now, I'm gonna say yeah on AP. You know, and I'm gonna say that we still need a quarterback and probably offensive coordinator. But I mean, how does that work? You know, do we get the quarterback first and then the offensive coordinator? Do we get the offensive coordinator, then the quarterback? Like, do we need a general manager first? I mean, not a general manager. Like, does AP need to solidify the head coaching job first before we get an offensive coordinator? Like, there's a lot of things, you know, and the dominoes have to fall in the right order in order for this team and this franchise to go in the right direction. Because this decision that Mark Davis has to make at the end of this year, this is going to be a big decision. If AP comes out and he wins more games than Josh McDaniels did last year, I mean, you can't let lightning strike twice. You got to sign him. You know, the players have his back. The players play hard for him. They want to play for him. You can't make that same mistake as you did with Bisaccia. But at the same time, there's going to be people that are like, he's not experienced. Maybe it was rookie luck. Maybe, you know, whatever. But at the same time, I say you give him a year or two, see what happens. Let's see what we do in the draft. Let's get an offensive coordinator. Let's get a decent quarterback. Let's put some money into our O-line, a little bit on our defense. Keep Patrick Graham for sure. You know what I'm saying? And I honestly feel like this team is heading in the right direction. But the decision that Mark Davis has to make is going to be, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. It's huge. You know, the decision that he has to make at the end of the year. Does he keep AP or does he get another head coach? Because that determines where this franchise is going. You know, are we going to start all over with a new head coach? Are we going to lose players? Are we going to lose coaches? Or like, how does that work? Does AP stay a linebacking, you know, coordinator? Like, I mean, how does everything work if we do get a new head coach? And I think that's what scares me the most is I don't want to lose players. I don't want to lose Patrick Graham. I don't want to lose what this defense has become, especially the defense. You know, so if you guys haven't, what I want to get into real quick too, if you guys haven't seen Hondo Carpenter's deep dive that he did, I'm about to get into some of the topics he was talking about because he's straight up, I mean, from his league sources, I ain't even gonna lie, by some of the quotes and the way people are talking, like they're cussing a lot, so it kind of sounds like Jacobs. Some of the stuff sounds like something like Lincoln Kennedy would say, the way he talks. But I mean, again, I'm not putting anything out there, you know, I'm not trying to create any type of rumors, just it's all league sources, you know what I'm saying? So, Sammy, what'd you say? Keep AP, keep Champ, let them draft their own quarterback. Yeah, you know, and I think that's exactly where I'm at. You know, I think Champ Kelly and I think AP, I think they can do it if they get a quarterback and they get you know, we get a good draft pick and everything like that, and we do something with it in the first round. That's the most important thing. We got to make a smart pick with that first round pick, you know. So what up, Menace? Salute, man. My brother right there. But so let's get into this Hondo Carpenter deep dive real quick. Um, he pretty much broke it down like how Ziegler and McDaniels agreed and didn't agree on stuff, and how he pretty much the whole topic of the article is that if Dave Ziegler would have did his job as a general manager and actually been the final decision as far as roster and making final decisions, you know, on players and stuff like that. like maybe this team wouldn't be where it's at right now, you know? So the first thing that they didn't agree on was Alec Ingold. You know, Ziegler wanted to keep Alec Ingold, the fullback. Remember, he got hurt. I think he like broke his leg or something like that. But he was making his way to return, and McDaniels wanted to get rid of him. Ziegler thought that he was a better presence in the locker room and in the city, you know, because he already started like a foundation, I think, right there in Vegas. And he honestly felt he was an overall better player than Jakob Johnson, and that's who McDaniels wanted. And he wanted him because he was an ex Patriot. That was the only reason why he wanted him. He was comfortable with the Patriot way. He was comfortable with the players over there that were pretty much yes men to McDaniels and knew the way McDaniels ran his scheme and the hard ass he was, and probably didn't take it personal. But that was the first thing that they didn't agree on, and that was a big mistake. I honestly think I was a real big fan of Alec Ingold. I thought him and Josh Jacobs were like a good little tandem and stuff. So that was the first thing, you know. And um the second thing is, and I kind of well, I didn't say it, but I kind of felt this way. A league source said that McDaniels was afraid of getting fired again, like in Denver, and was always tense and nervous around the owner Mark Davis. You know, so he always had that in the back of his mind that he was gonna fail again. He never probably ever even thought of like being successful or anything like that. You know, and being successful is a mindset. You know, you can't be down on yourself all day and think that you can't do something and then expect yourself to go out there and conquer. You know, like if you don't have that mindset as a winner, if you don't have that mindset as a leader, you're not going to be able to put it out there for everybody to see and everybody to follow you. Like people don't gravitate to that kind of shit, you know. So for him to be scared the whole time that he was around Mark Davis, and ever since he signed the contract to be the Raiders head coach, he was scared of failing. He was scared of getting fired again. He was scared of getting fired the same way. And the crazy thing is he lasted longer in Denver than he did in Las Vegas, and he even got caught cheating in Denver, you know, and he still lasted longer over there. So it just goes to show he's not a head coach. You know, he's not a head coach. And it's crazy, you know, that he was always comfortable with Mark Davis kind of being in the background and kind of what Mark Davis is looking for, that that head coach or that GM that's kind of just gonna take care of the football things, and Mark Davis could just be an owner, you know. Like I honestly think that's what Mark Davis needs to like look for when he's like looking, you know, for a GM and a head coach. And I think he has that right now in Champ Kelly and AP. You know, they're both respected by the players, they're respected by other coaches and other staff and everybody like that in the league. So I think we're good where we're at now, but again, I want to see where we're at the end of the year, you know. And it's crazy that, you know, Hondo Carpenter goes on to say that Ziegler was he wasn't close to Belichick, you know, he wasn't super close to Bill Belichick like McDaniels was, you know, so he didn't have a problem with Mark Davis being around. In fact, he wanted Mark Davis to be involved more, you know, and that made Josh McDaniels like even more nervous and even more tense whenever they were all around each other, you know, because he just had that in the back of his head that he was going to fail again, you know. And I already knew this. I said it after we got rid of Carr, we benched Carr, but McDaniels wanted Brady after Carr. Ziegler wanted to keep Jared Stidham and sign Jacoby Brissett in the offseason and let them kind of, you know, battle it out for who was going to be second. And you know, Jacoby Brissett, he's on the Commanders right now, and kind of let them, you know, battle it out. And Ziegler already had a plan that didn't include getting rid of Max Crosby, getting rid of none of our star players to move up to pick number 2. He had the ability. He said it like it was done. And McDaniels wanted Bryce Young. Bryce Young went first, so they didn't end up moving up. But Ziegler wanted CJ Stroud, and McDaniels didn't want it. Ziegler honestly felt that, CJ Stroud could be the future. Stidham understood the offense well enough to maybe get us past that first year. Maybe him and Jacoby Brissett battle it out. Brissett's a little bit more mobile, I guess. Maybe it could work in their offense. But other than that, I mean, imagine CJ Stroud on the Raiders. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing my man Rafa. What's up, Rafa?
Yeah, what's good, CT, RealMen Raiders?
How you doing, man?
El Capitán Fuchs there. So, yeah, and talking about for the draft and CJ Stroud, I mean, I was thinking about my mind because I really to want CJ Stroud, but then there's just time to change it about it. I know that the Josh McDaniels and Dave Silver, they're just about to cook him, but that
I want to try
experiment it
him.
didn't fade, and that really it didn't work in it
Yes.
out. But I
Hit them
know that it's
lights.
yeah, but I know that we just want to say just Rob because he got the perfect idea to put him out as a quarterback. But then we just had Tyree Wilson, which is I think it's improved a little bit. But if we had CJ Stroud, I mean, they could be happy for the future of the quarterback. But
Yeah.
right now we had Aiden O'Connor, which is what are the brightest futures of the quarterback. But I still believe that we need something to rob for the quarterback. I mean, there's Jimmy Garoppolo, there's Brian Hoyer, but we need something to get
No.
enough for the level. We need to something about for the level.
I don't even think of them as being on the roster anymore. It's just
Yeah,
O'Connell for the
yeah,
rest of the season, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I know that it's happening like this
What's up,
one. But
John?
how's it doing, John? Salute to you, D Menace. But doing for the coach right now, what I just saw from the news of John Gruden, I was like, imagine this because it happens with the ex girlfriend relationship because she wants
Yeah,
to get back, and I know that's because I had a few relationships when I was younger, but she was trying to get back to say, hey, no, I'm not going backwards because we're going
put your
forward.
solo, Rafa, go for it.
And I know that the John Gruden's is permanent because whenever the time when it comes to the NFL draft 2020, it didn't work out. And that's one of the reasons that the John Gruden the came for the receipts. And after the backlash comments for the email comments, I mean, the people they want to steal back, I don't think it's gonna be like the opportunity in those times right now because I'm good with that. I'm good with that because we don't want to see it up John Gruden's back. We don't want to see it up Jim Harbour because he had a lot of reputation. But I'd say that, folks, and I'm not crazy at all.
Back
I
Sammy.
want to see Antonio Pierce one more season for the Raiders because
Yeah,
he brought a lot of intelligence. He brought a lot smarter for the football. And I know we just lost against for the Miami Dolphins or the Kansas City Chiefs. Let that man cooking, not Jim Harbour or no John Gruden, because we don't
yeah,
want to hire a big name coach. Let Antonio Pierce cooking at all because that's what I need about it. Because
yep,
we had to improve about the defense, the offense. We're going up to the level, and Antonio Pierce is the perfect answer to do about it.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I wanted when it comes to the draft, I liked as far as like quarterbacks, I like CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson just for his like athletic and mobility and stuff. Just like to think of him and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs and Jacoby Myers, like to think of it, even though he got hurt or whatever. But I mean, even CJ Stroud, I don't think anybody thought that he would be playing the way he's playing, and he's balling out right now. So yeah. And to get to what Sammy said, I'm good on fucking Gruden too. I like Gruden. I wouldn't mind him being part of the team somehow because like the fans love him and like he Chucky and everything like that. But as far as him coming back
Yeah,
to be a head
exactly.
coach, like yeah, no, I don't want him to be a head coach anymore. I don't like his old school style of ways of doing it. He's another head coach that wants to be control of everything and do things his way and XY spider banana Z Corvette turbo whatever. Like, I mean, I'm good on all that, like we don't need anything super complicated right now. What we need to do is get a quarterback, put some money into the offensive line or fix the offensive line somehow and put a little bit of money into the defense, the interior defense, a corner, maybe another linebacker, and I'll be good with something like that. and get to what
Yeah,
John said.
exactly.
I like AOC, but draft another quarterback early and let them compete. Facts. Facts. And we got to do
Yeah,
something
that's
smart with that first round pick.
yeah, exactly. And I agree with you, Sammy 77, because especially for the drafting about for the 2020 draft, I mean, we can forget about for the 2020 draft because it looks so terrible that it makes me like, I don't know. But my answer is say no to John Gruden because we don't
Yeah.
want to see them again. We just wanted to see looking forward to Antonio Pierce. I
Yeah.
know he's brought a lot of culture for the Raiders in Oakland, California, because after the experiment of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, I gotta tell you something. The Bill Belichick experiment has been failed. It's fucking failed because we don't
Yeah.
want to
Patriot way
see
is dead.
anymore. We don't want
Patriot
to
way
see
is dead.
anymore. Yeah,
I was
exactly.
just talking about that too. I don't know if you've read it or if you've heard anything on it, but Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated, he put out an article today that was talking about just how bad the business relationship was between Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels. How Ziegler wanted some players, Ziegler wanted CJ Stroud and had the ability to move up to number
Yeah,
2 to get him, and McDaniels didn't want him because he fucking wanted Tyree Wilson. He wanted his guy, and it's just like I don't know. That's another. That's why I'm saying when we get into the first round, we need to do something smart. Like I get it. They thought we were gonna have Chandler Jones, and that's another thing. They both knew about Chandler Jones off the field issues, and they still paid him all that money to come over here. And he had like 1 or 2 good games, and yeah, he won that game against the Patriots last year. But at the end of the day, he was a Patriot, and that's why they brought him over here.
yeah,
And
exactly, exactly.
but to
Yeah,
to get to what Sammy said, talking about, I'm assuming you're talking about Gruden's drafting. I'm
yeah,
not gonna agree with all their picks, but I mean he did draft Colton Miller, Josh Jacobs. We got Divine Diablo, Nate Hobbs, from that draft. So I'm not gonna say the whole draft was a bust. Our first rounders are always shit for some reason. Like we picked the worst first round picks ever. Like and instead of like Josh Jacobs and Khalil Mack, that was probably like the last good pick we had. But all our last first round picks have like got arrested, gone to jail, like it's fucking stupid, dude. So we got to do
yeah,
something smart with that first round pick. And I wouldn't agree with all of Mayock's and Gruden's drafting, but they drafted some guys that we still got that are still putting in work for us. So I wouldn't say that they're all total busts.
yeah, exactly. And about for that question about what do you think about Jaden Daniel? He's tall, but he needs to the way he has connections with Antonio Pierce. I know that about this, but if we really like at a one red stuff with Daniels, I mean, first and foremost, regular to the because they like to focus on how transfer of an environment because there are big name quarterbacks in college who are in touch because they're still cleaning pockets, playing pitch and catch. It's not that difficult for a talented quarterback to impress in that situation. It's also very tricky to project will handle to the NFL when suddenly they are facing with the constant pressure. I mean, Daniels doesn't have a canyon with his arm strength is good enough for the category. He throws with a nice touch, looking downfield passes and hitting receivers in stride, and that feels very quite important because they know like creative quarterbacks can hit big time play. I know he show how he can do this, but he's a runner. He's a real threat, and he's very successful. He can hitch the edge so quickly. He can stand for the pocket and certainly for the perimeter. I mean, there's one area to consider. He needs to better job being quicker over the middle in the intermediate passes. Also, he needs to grab at those thrown in, and he doesn't have the rocket arm to rival receiver in tight coverage in shortened routes, and he pick against Arkansas with the defender Reed. But I know they had a connection with Antonio Pierce, but it seems that it happens a lot. But I think they had to go for the linkage because the one aspect that could happen about it because they had the ties because they had to do close to the low for the quarterbacks. I mean,
I'm
Jimmy Garoppolo
I
has no workout.
I
Mhm.
personally haven't seen anything on Jaden Daniels. I know I've read that I think he like coached him in like high school and or maybe college or something like that. But I haven't seen anything on him, so
Mhm.
I can't really speak on it. But from what I've seen, And from what Rundown said, he's pretty good. You know, he's pretty mobile. He's pretty accurate. And right now, I think that's all we really need is someone that can extend plays just a little bit, get the ball downfield. You know, to Adams. I mean, we've seen what O'Connell can do, and he has the ability to get it down the field. I just think he on the closer plays, you know, where things are happening a little bit faster. I think the game hasn't slowed down enough for him to really make that right read just yet. And I'm sometimes he even does make the right read, but it's just a bad like it's a bad pass, you know. So I don't know anything about
Yeah,
Jaden
but
Daniels, so I can't speak on that.
yeah, but also that I just wanted to tell it about for the Lincoln Alfred because there's one thing that could happen of the changes of getting drafted. I mean, Pierce was coaching for the defensive side of ball. There's no doubt that the two know each other after spring 3 years together at the same program because the coach should be familiar with the ability on the field and his attitude out the field. He gives like onside of the quarterback if they decide to address the position earlier at the draft. Because if they want to keep the full-time job with affairs about it, I mean, they could have been a great choice to have to the test for Jaden Daniels. But Everton could move to the point if they could decide to go to another direction about the season. But I think that the connections is something to keep an eye on it. I mean, he's the first in quarterback rating, first in pass touchdowns, first in rush yards among quarterback. I mean, he's been unreal that season for the LCU. And he's had the chance of being like a franchise quarterback because after we just saw Aiden O'Connor, I mean, it would be great to show us out with the life over the last 6 games. And he could be like a chance to be like the starting quarterback next season. But there's a plenty of holes of the roster could be addressed at the first round of the draft. I mean, the problem facing O'Connor is very limited. He's not particularly athletic and sloppy with the ball, but also he's 25, which is quite old for the rookie. And the
Yeah.
hope is going to be like an older rookie quarterback come in and it'll be like more comfortable than a younger player, but it has to be like the case.
Yeah, well, he's played a lot of football. I think he played 6 years at Purdue, you know, and I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that I not a lot of players get that much experience and stuff, you know. So, I mean, I thought that would help him a little bit more and I could kind of see where it is, but at the same time, he's the game's still moving fast, you know, like I mean, when you're playing in college, you know, you're playing with people your age, and then in a way, you're still like I don't want to say a kid, but you're not a grown ass man yet, you know. And then when you get to, you know, the NFL and you're playing with people that, you know, are 4 or 5, 6 years older than you, and they got that grown man's speed, that grown man's strength, you know, and you see big ass dudes, you know, that make big tackles and stuff like that, or that are faster than what you saw in college. I think that's the tricky part for quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks that are really good in college. That's why
Yeah.
some quarterbacks that are really good in college, they struggle when they come to in the NFL their first couple of years because the game's just a lot faster than what they thought, you know. So I mean, that's why
Yeah, exactly.
I've been seeing Jaden Daniels like a lot like more like trending and stuff like on Twitter and people talking about his connection with Antonio Pierce, but personally I haven't seen anything from him. So I'm gonna go have to go watch some highlights and stuff like that and see what he's all about.
Yeah, and of course we had to do like a film study.
Yeah.
How great is Jenny Daniels? Because well, after for the season right now, I mean, there's a lot of probabilities to do like a film study about Jenny Daniels and who could be like the weakness, and of course who needs to improve. I mean, there's a lot of film studies to go for the college football before going to the draft, and I know they had to understand what it be like the pros and cons for any player in any position. Because, for example, if you look at it, see for the college players on the right receiver, running back, and of course offensive tackle, you need to watch for the pros and cons for all these players and which area he can improve. Because it would to see like those college football players. Because after that, because during that week right now because they had the championship between Alabama versus Georgia. But if we need to look at those players in those positions that we need to feel about it, because we had to keep an eye to see, oh, this player is very good. So I don't know if she should be like a great fit, but we had to understand which good fit and which bad fit it could be like for the race, because we had to involve for the defense, including for the tackles, linebackers, all these stuffs.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of film studies to keep an eye on, because if there's some players that say, hey, that player looks awesome, but he needs to improve that some.
I mean, that's what I was saying before you jumped on. It's like where the Raiders are in such a like s- it's so important what happens next, as far as our head coach, our quarterback, our offensive coordinator, and if Antonio Pierce, if I honestly think if he wins more games than Josh McDaniels won last year, then yeah, like give him the job, like how you said, give him another year or two, let him draft, let him and Champ Cali draft and get a quarterback and be competitive and stuff like that. And really see where this team could go, because we've seen flashes of it with
Mm,
what they're capable of, and I I just think that's the important thing, like we need a quarterback, we need an offensive coordinator, we need a head coach, or do we have a head coach already? And do we get the quarterback first, or do we get the offensive coordinator first? Or does the offensive coordinator determine, like, does that change the factor in what quarterback we get, or does the quarterback we want change the factor in what offense coordinator we want? It's just like there's so many things that go into this what's going to happen at the end of the season. And it's it's really really important, because if Mark Davis doesn't make the right decision, then we're in a whole nother rebuild all over again.
yeah,
And
yeah,
everything that happened the last end of this season is pretty much gone. That whole feeling, that whole vibe and everything. And that's why I don't want another head coach. And or maybe that's my fear of wanting another head coach, is I don't want to lose this defense, what it's become. I don't want to lose Patrick Graham. I don't want to lose, Max Crosby. I don't want to lose Devontae
yeah, that's
Adams, so
yeah, that's exactly, because let's just keep like, because we had great talent,
yeah.
but we had to improve a lot of more, because it's not gonna be easy, because right now we're in the bye week and we need to stay focused. We had to stay much aggressive about for the last 5 games, because we
Yeah.
got the Vikings, we got the Chargers, we got the Denver Broncos, we got
Mhm.
Kansas City Chiefs again, we got Colts. I mean, that could happen a lot of things to move on, because right
Yeah, we
now
got
we
it's
had to
that's a
move
short week
forward.
too.
Yeah, yeah, that's a short week,
Yeah, we
but I
got
think they
Vikings
had
and
the
then Chargers on Thursday, right?
yeah, this is gonna be on Thursday. It's gonna
Mhm.
be on Thursday, and I think this is gonna happen because they had to go for it. And I know I have a lot of short to do, but City Dinero, Real Man Raiders, I appreciate it, and of course I had to go to it. And
All right,
much
Rafa.
love and respect for you. And of
I
course,
appreciate you for stopping by, homie.
yeah, and I had one thing to say, because that T-shirt that I was wearing, because I had to do focus into the camera, because right now I'm wearing the shirt Conor McGregor, the
Conor
UFC,
McGregor.
the Notorious, and I know that I'm very specialist about for the combat sports, because not only I provide play-by-play, but also for the baseball, basketball, because it all involves for the sports. So I just wanted to tell you, much love and respect from El Capitan Rafucho. Even though that I speak Spanish and English, Rafael is always there. And
Appreciate you,
one more
Rafa.
thing, Raider Nation for life. And for those Vikings, out for another week. And for the Chiefs fans, you can suck on this. Raider Nation for life,
That's right, Rafa.
motherfuckers.
Have a good one,
Have a good
Rafa.
one. Yeah.
If you guys haven't, or if you guys are Spanish speaking or just want something different, go check out his page. He does a Spanish announcing on the Raider games, on point for real. And John, I want to get to your comment real quick. I heard on another show about trading Adams. Oh man, I mean, I'm up in the air about this one. Like, I get it. Adams is a good player. He's like the best player we have on offense, arguably. Um, the caliber, what he brings and everything like that, the attention he brings on defense and everything. He's already passing, 30. And I mean, what if we, get a first and a second, maybe a first, maybe a second, a high pick. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he requires that kind of trade value, He has that kind of value, so he would get, at least I think at least like a first and a second, or like a first and then like maybe a first a year down the line or a first and a second that same year, something like that. I think he has that kind of trade value, So for him, I mean, it's hard, it all depends on where that pick is, who might be available at that pick, like where other teams might be going. I mean, because is it really worth it to have Adams for 2, 3 more years or to get someone that's really high caliber for the next 5 or 6? I mean, it's a double-edged sword, however you think about it, like I like Adams, I want to keep him, he's a great player and everything, but I mean, if it's a really high draft pick or 2 high draft picks, in the same year or something, like, can you really pass that up if the market is really like deep in what this team really needs? I mean, I'm not going to say do it, but I would say, I mean, you would have to at least think about it, because like we always say, as much as I love the player, it's still the team over everything. So I would want the team to be as best as it can for us as long as it can be. And if we can get a good quarterback and Adams could, they could build off that and we could be, successful and competitive for the next 3, 4 years, then yeah, fuck it, keep them. But if we can get something high for him and maybe we can get 2 really good players or use that to trade up to get one really good player, but then our draft picks have been shitty. So I mean, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Robert Pena, shout out to you. Rafa just dipped out. He was here for a little bit. Shout out to Rafa. I like DA, but we may need to move off of him for capital while we still can. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's something to think about, Sammy. It's something to think about. Like he has that value, and depending on what team offers what, like he's not gonna have that value in 2, 3 years. You know what I'm saying? He's not. That's just what it is. Um, like what do we do? It's really hard. It's really hard, like I said, I love Adams and I love him in the silver and black and what he's capable of and what he brings to the offense and all the attention he gets. But are you really going to pass up on, like, exactly like how Sammy said, capital, that draft value? He's not going to have it in 2, 3 years. Get it while we can, and I'm not saying do it, but I mean, honestly, right now, I would have to say it would have to be you'd have to at least think about it, and see what the other teams want, and where that pick might be, and what you can get for him and everything like that, and all the money it's gonna save us, So it's definitely something to think about, Sammy. Someone says Sauce Gardner trade Adams for Sauce. I don't know. Sauce, he's his own island, he has that, Darrell Revis type of, like, that aura, like people game plan around him pretty much, so he has that potential. And I don't think we've had that in a really long time at corner. I mean, we had who, like Osmwa, Woodson, when he first came into the league, he was a corner. When he came back, he was a safety. Trying to think of who else we had that was halfway decent. Um, I can't think of his name right now. We drafted him a couple years ago. He was a Gruden draft, and he kept getting hurt. Trayvon something, not Merrick. It was another Trayvon. I can't remember. But I don't know. DA for Sauce Gardner and a first or a second. Send them back with Rogers. It's not a bad idea, John. It's not a bad idea. There we go, Trayvon Mullen. There we go. Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, Trayvon Mullen. He was pretty decent. But once he got hurt, he kept getting hurt, and then he kept getting hurt. And yeah, after that, I can't really think of the last good cornerback we've had before him, And I mean, I don't even want to say he was good, but he was decent. I don't think we've had a lockdown corner like that where like you're like I said, coordinators gotta, plan around him, and quarterbacks are scared to throw to him and stuff like that, like a Jalen Ramsey, you know. I don't know, Sauce Gardner for DA and maybe like a second. I don't know. That might be cool. Sauce is still on a rookie deal, I think. And like I was saying earlier, this bye week couldn't have come at a better time for our team, man. We're super banged up. Robert Spillane playing with a broken hand, Max Crosby out there, doing his Jordan game, flu game and stuff. Um, I really think I hope, they take the time and really rehab and get their bodies right and everything like that. Because when we come back, we got that first game against the Vikings, and then it's a short week turnaround against the Chargers on Thursday night. And that's going to be big for us coming off a bye, so we get a rest, and then we get a short week, so hopefully everybody's healthy and everything like that. I really hope everybody just hunkers down for the whole week and just really gets their bodies right, gets healthy, especially our defense, because the last couple of games they haven't played like the defense, well, especially the last game. I mean, Max was hurt and everything, but they didn't play like they played before. Like I saw it the whole game. It looked like they were kind of out there a little bit too long towards the end of the game. Mahomes and everybody just running all over him. Kelsey started getting all his yards and everything. So I really hope everybody heals up and everything like that, because we need Max for the rest of the season. Even if we don't have a playoff run, I think it's still going to be important to see what happens with this team, because like I said, Mark Davis got, I mean, we're talking about, the next 5, 6 years of this team, possibly what's going to happen. Not saying that AP is going to get that type of deal, but if he does good, he could be here long term. And I think all he needs, honestly, I think all AP needs is an offensive coordinator and a better quarterback. Or if O'Connell somehow thrives, in these last few weeks, some figures it out, then I'm all for it. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Is that you, cuz? What's up, Daniel? Offense got to stay on the field longer. It's just wearing out the defense. Yeah, facts, Sammy. I mean, when we started off that game against the Chiefs, we were playing our football. I mean, we controlled. I think it was we had that one drive that was like 8 minutes. It was like an 8 minute drive. We were running the ball, passing the ball, moving the chains, everybody doing their job. Um, we ended up getting it down the field to score a touchdown on both possessions, so that's the most important thing, is keeping our defense off the field and being able to keep our offense on the field, exactly like how you said, keep our defense fresh and being able to go out there and put the pressure on and get those turnovers and all that stuff, so I totally agree with you. Afakasi, what up, man? My dude, salute. TRS in the house. Listening while you're on the drive. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you just listening, dude, for real. Hope everything's well with you over there in Australia. You know, hope everything's well with you in life and Raider life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy it's a bye week. And if you guys haven't read that Hondo Carpenter thing, you need to go in there and check it out, because there's a lot of information in there that really shows how much the business relationship between McDaniels and Ziegler was just shot. Like, McDaniels tried controlling it. Ziegler thought he was in control. McDaniels shitted all over Ziegler, whatever he wanted to do. And pretty much it's saying, like if you weren't here earlier, it's saying that maybe if Dave Ziegler was a better GM and he did what he wanted to do and didn't get Jimmy Garoppolo and he wanted to go get CJ Stroud and didn't want to draft Tyree Wilson, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what this team would look like right now? But again, it's still gonna be ran by, you know, Josh McDaniels and his stupid ass offense and everything like that. Fakasi TRS, you already know, fam. But yeah, you guys need to go check it out because there's things that he touches on that they disagreed a lot, and then even the things that they did agree on was like still bad decisions, you know, like the Chandler Jones decision, giving him all that money at the tail end of his career. You know what I'm saying? Even though he did have a decent season the last season, like he got a lot of sacks over there in Arizona, but he even talks about how he even talked to one of the teammates of Chandler Jones, and he just said that, you know, like there's just a lot more to him off the field than people think, you know. And I'm not going to speculate, I'm not going to get into it, but as far as Raider information, as far as things that have to do with the Raiders, they both agreed on bringing in Chandler Jones, you know, ex-Patriot, you know, and trying to do things the Patriot way and all that stuff. And you know, the Patriot way is dead. The Patriot way is dead. You know, the Patriot way was Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not in the league anymore. It's obvious. Belichick can't be the same guy. McDaniels was never the guy. Ziegler, I'm not gonna shit on Ziegler. You know, he was a GM. Everything that I'm reading, he wasn't really close to Belichick. A lot of people even felt that Ziegler didn't belong there. He was too nice of a guy to be there, to be working with the Patriots and their staff, the way they run things. You know, Josh McDaniels, he has that cold demeanor to it, you know, my way or the highway. Dave Ziegler is more of a person type of guy, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of Hondo Carpenter got into it, you know, how sources were telling him how, you know, Dave Ziegler didn't belong there. And the only reason why um Ziegler was okay with McDaniels is because of the relationship that they had. They thought that the relationship he thought they had, that they can, you know, talk and work things out and everything. But as soon as those, you know, those dotted lines were signed, and after that first press conference, you know, Josh McDaniels let his true colors show, and that shit did not work out well. I want to thank everybody once again for showing up. I'm gonna be wrapping it up. You know, like I said, we got a bye week, then we're coming back to the Vikings. You know, we're coming up on an hour right now. Appreciate everybody, man. Sammy, Afakasi, Menace, um, Robert. Shout out to Rafa for stopping by for a little bit. John, Leon, everybody, man, that pulled up and just hung out with me, man. Gave me a little bit of your time. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, in the beginning of the video, on my way to 100 subscribers. You guys can see it down there. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'll be doing a giveaway as soon as I get to 100 subscribers. I'm trying to get there before the end of the season. So if you like this video, hit the like button, share it, um, subscribe, you know, uh, comment on there, Raider Nation, if you don't know what to comment. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, a great Friday, and a great weekend. Enjoy this weekend off. The bye week, like always, win, lose, or tie. Raider Nation till I die. CT Dinero, RealMen are Raiders. Everybody keep loving, keep doing what you love and love what you do. And I'm out, y'all. Peace. Let me get to this question real quick. Thoughts on Tyree? AR. I'm tired of us. I don't want to say he was an experiment, but him being hurt, and I think they took him because we had Chandler Jones and maybe we had Kuntz. You know, Kuntz is showing up now. Like, I guess they thought they'd be able to ease him in a little bit more, but I'm not happy with us taking people who are hurt. I'm not happy with us taking a safety and making him a linebacker, even though it kind of worked with Diablo. But I don't like experiments like that. You know, I don't want us to keep doing that. We've done it a lot before. Tanner Muse never even saw the field. You know what I'm saying? So just getting to that question real quick before I head on out. And TRS, you already know what it is. Be branding that out pretty soon. Everybody have a great night. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.